welcome to the first and, legendary episode of Circle Jerk. Today in the circle, I'm Steve. This is Mike. This is Fetus. Say hi, Fetus.
Hi.
This is John. Then, of course, the lovely Cassie.
Guy walks into a Horace. He slams $5 down on the counter and says to the proprietor of the establishment, "Sir, I need me a good orgasm. What do you got?" "Alright, well, for $5, son, I can't do much for you. You're just going to have to go." So look, you've already got my money. I'm not leaving without something. "Alright, fine. You want to be a fucking baby about it." So he takes him in the back room, and the room's all full of mirrors. And there's a chicken in the corner. And he looks at the guy and he says, "You gotta be kidding me. I am not fucking a chicken." He says, "Hey, for $5, what do you want?" "Alright, fair enough." So he puts the nuts to the chicken. He comes back the next week. He slams down $15 on the counter. He says, "Give me what you got for $15. He says, "No worries, bud." Takes him in the back room. It's this theater-type setting, and he's looking through this two-way mirror into a room. These two broads come in and start biking out, and then 5 minutes later, this guy comes in and joins up. And he leans over to the guy next to him, and he says, "Hey, bud, this is pretty good, eh?" He says, "That's nothing. Last week there was a guy fucking a chicken."
So this guy goes to Germany, right, for a vacation. And he's doing the usual sightseeing in Germany. He decides to go to one of these provincial parks. So he goes to a provincial park. And he sits down and he starts feeding the pigeons. He looks beside him, and sure enough, it's Adolf fucking Hitler sitting right next to him, right? So he looks at Adolf Hitler. He says, "How you doing?" He says, "Well, not bad," he says. He goes, "Well, what have you been doing with your life? Like, I thought you were dead." He goes, "No, I'm not dead." He says, "Actually, I've been planning my next hostile takeover," he says. He goes, "Well, really? Well, you went kind of nuts the last time." He says, "Well, what are you going to do differently?" Adolf Hitler looks at him and he says, "Well, I'm going to kill me 10,000 Jews and 2 clowns," he says. So he looks at him and he says, "Why the 2 clowns?" He says, "See, nobody gives a fuck about the Jews."
That's funny.
So, little Jimmy, he goes to the mall to sit on Santa Claus's lap. And Santa Claus looks at him, puts his finger to his nose, and goes, "I take it your name is Jimmy." He goes, "That's amazing. How did you know?" He's like, "Well, I'm Santa. I know everything."
Of course.
Like,
Santa.
"Well, you know what I want for Christmas?" Puts his finger on his nose again. He goes, "Bike." It's like, "Oh my God, that's amazing. Like, how do you know this?" He's like, "I'm Santa. Like, I know everything." He goes, "Well, let me ask you something, Santa. Do you like GIRLS?" He goes, "Well, yeah. How do you know?" He's like, "'Cause your finger smells like PUSSY."
So, this guy with a ski mask and everything goes onto the fucking sperm bank, and he pulls out his gun and starts fucking pointing at everybody. "Hey, everybody on the fucking ground!" They're like, "Dude, this is a fucking sperm bank. What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't give a shit. You, get over there. Unlock the bolt right now." She unlocks the bolt. "Get inside. Close the door." Fucking closes the door. He's like, "Take that cum and drink it." She's like, "What?" "Take the fucking cum and drink it." So she drinks it, he pulls off the mask, he's like, "See, honey, that wasn't so bad."
So there's these 3 little girls, right? And they all want to know what they were named. And the first little girl walks up to her mom, and she's like, "Mommy, why'd you name me Tulip?" "Well, one day we were walking down the street, and a tulip petal fell on your face, so we named you Tulip." Second little girl comes up. "Mommy, why'd you name me Rose?" "Well, one day we were walking down the street, and a rose petal fell on your face, so we named you Rose." Third little girl comes up. "Shut up, piano."
There's a shipwreck. No one survives but one girl. This girl goes to this abandoned shore, and she's walking around this island. She can't find anybody. Completely deserted. After weeks and weeks of being there, she gets extremely fucking horny. Like, beyond horny. And she goes, "Oh, what I wouldn't give for a man," she says, right? all of a sudden she hears from the fucking trees, this fucking man swinging from the fucking trees, right? So she looks up and here's fucking George in the jungle. So she calls him down. George swings down on his vine, all fucking sly-like. She goes, what's your name? He says, me name George, me name George. He goes, oh, well, you ever have sex before, George? He goes, George, have sex with trees, he says. She goes, trees. He goes, George, have sex with trees. He goes, well, you ever have sex with a woman before? He goes, no. He goes, would you like to? He goes, yeah, George wants sex with a woman. George wants sex with a woman. He goes, okay, well, let's get at it then. So she fucking lays down in the sand. She spreads her legs really wide, like, right? George just fucking stares at her fucking box, right? Leans back, runs up, and fucking boots her right in the cunt, right? She's fucking screaming, oh, you son of a bitch! Why the fuck would you do that? He's like, George, check for bees.
Okay.
You're up, buddy.
So these three gay guys, their husbands got in a
I have
plane
to
crash.
stop to admire the irony in this, by the way.
Okay,
Go
well,
on,
Yeah,
go on.
badge.
Go on,
Okay.
go on, go on.
So, three gay guys, their husbands died in a plane crash. So they're sitting there talking about what they're going to do with the ashes. And the first guy says, well, my husband really loved to fly, so I'm going to go on a plane and spread his ashes in the air. Second guy goes, well, my husband loved to fish, so I'm going to spread his ashes in the lake, our favorite lake. And the third guy stops and thinks about it, and he's like, well, I'm going to put my husband's ashes in chili, so we can tear my ass up one more time.
On that note, in my last will and testament, I said that I want to be cremated and I want to have my ashes thrown on my ex-wife. Just so one more time, because of me, she has to go.
there's these three nuns, right? And there's this homeless guy sitting in the middle of the street. So the first nun walks by and has a stroke. The second nun walks by, also has a stroke. Third nun walks by, couldn't have a stroke because her arms were too short.
That's fucking sick.
Alright.
Fetus demands attention.
So Jasmine walks up to a pop.
Go ahead.
So Jasmine walks up to a pop machine, and she puts a loony in, and presses the button, and a pop pops out. And she goes, well, that's awesome. Puts it in her pocket, puts another loony in, presses another button, another one pops out. She's like, wow, this is crazy. So like an hour and a half goes by, right? And there's a big lineup of people, and they're like, can we get a pop? Like, come on. She's like, no, I'm winning.
Fuck you!
I had to.
So, an alarm goes off, and the fire trucks come around, and people are rushing out and everything. This guy goes to the fireman. He says, "Did you see a hooker run by?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Well, if you do, fuck her, because she still got my money."
What's the difference between a blonde and a washing machine? Washing machine don't follow you home after you drop a load in it. Always a BIB.
This is my buddy Steve giving a blowjob to a liqueur bottle.
All of them, most of them. Don't mind him, he's Scottish, he should be wearing a skirt right now.
Fucking pork chops couldn't agree in the color of straight.